stay positive when you are stressed as a woman in leadership? In this video, I'm going to share with you my approach to remaining positive when I am stressed. Now, this happens to many of us as leaders. And of course, I'm speaking to you from a perspective as a woman. I have a lot of individuals that are on my channel that are women and men in leadership. So this information will be helpful regardless of what gender you are, but I want to focus specifically on some of those challenges that we experience as women and some strategies that I personally use, and I have been under a tremendous amount of stress before, that have helped me to remain positive when stress happens. I want to know from you that are watching this video right now, have you ever felt like you could not be positive when you're stressed? Let me know in the comments below. I would be happy to provide you with any insight or help you with your specific situation. You're welcome to reach out to me in the comments below, in the description rather. There is a place that has an option for you to sign up for an executive strategy session, or a strategy session, I will say. The strategy session is just an opportunity for you and I to have a conversation about where you are as a woman in leadership and how I can potentially help you go to that next journey as it relates to your communication, what you're struggling with as a leader, and etc. Now, my client base I work with specifically focuses with women in leadership, but on YouTube and on many other platforms, I have a lot of men in leadership, that are a part of my audience. And so I'm here to support you all, and I'm really glad and thankful that you're here. Now, before I go into these strategies that help me personally, and this is more of just a video for me to really help you. So you definitely want to watch it till the end, because you are absolutely going to want to think about some of the strategies that have helped me. And I've been in very friendly situations. I've been in very contentious situations. And I want to really help you anywhere that you are to help you be positive when you're stressed out. Now, this is a live video on YouTube. Now, what happens oftentimes, if you're watching this portion of the live, you are more than likely, sorry, I'm a little under the weather today, so let me just preface that. That's why I'm not talking as clearly as I normally do, but I'm a little under the weather, so sorry about that. But nonetheless, if you're watching this portion of the video, you're watching the replay, and I welcome you. I'm glad you're here. Give it just a few moments. Typically with YouTube, there is a point in time where a lot of people join, and I want to say hello to them. Then we'll go right into some of the strategies that have helped me to remain positive when I'm stressed out. And if it sounds like something you want to learn more about and you like this topic so far, then feel free to subscribe. This is where I talk about a lot of things on this channel. I really heavily focus on leadership, communication, etc. But today we're going to talk about how can you remain positive under stress. So I want to say hello, and welcome to all of you who are joining the live today. Let me know in the comments below where you are joining from, and let me know, have you ever felt like you could not be positive when you are stressed? I want to know from you, because it happens to all of us. And if you want to ask me any questions specifically in terms of how you can become more positive when you're stressed, then let me know. I'm here to support you with the time that I have here on the live today. Now, the first strategy that I do personally when I am stressed and I'm trying to remain positive when I'm stressed is to do a bit of homework, a bit of prep work beforehand. I'm very big into planning in advance. So the first thing you need to do is more of a preventative type of measure. You want to think about, what are the things that make you happy? What are the activities that you do that make you feel less stressed? So you want to have those in the back of your mind, so to speak, so that you have it in the back of your mind. You know some of the strategies that help you to cope with stress. It could be reading a book. It could be going for a walk. It could be exercising. There's a lot of things that my clients do specifically that help them not to feel stressed. So you want to have this in the back of your mind, because when those stressful moments happen, hopefully you can follow my specific strategy that I do, my framework, and have this activity in the back of your mind, because we're going to need that if you're trying to stay positive under stress. So we talked about having that main strategy in place. You need to know exactly what it is specifically that helps you not to feel stressed. Now, the next step that I do when I'm trying to stay positive when I am under stress is to acknowledge that I am under stress. And I do want to mention this topic specifically was requested, and I did not mention this at the very beginning, by a young lady named Liz. I spoke with her at length today, and we had a really nice conversation about YouTube channels, etc. So we wanted to talk about how can we remain positive as women leaders. So I want to give her a shout out in this video because she was an inspiration to help me have this video with you all today. So I mentioned you have to know your activities first. And before I go into the second one, I want to say hello, Skylar. Hello, welcome, welcome. Hope you're doing well today. Brad, hello, Brad. How you doing today? Feel free to let me know where you all are joining from in this big, beautiful world today. And let me know what are some strategies that you have done to stay positive when you are stressed as a leader. Or if you want to talk about some scenarios that you've had when you've been stressed, then let me know. I'll be glad to hear from you and give you any guidance I can. Learn from my over 20 years of experience as a C-suite executive, a manager, and a director, where I've been in some stressful situations, friends, some real stressful situations. So there's a way you want to stay positive when that happens. Booney, hello, Booney, welcome, welcome. Nicholas Gutierrez, hello, welcome, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Skylar is joining from the USA. Welcome, welcome, Skylar. Welcome, welcome. Brad says math helps you. Does math help you not feel stressed, or math help you feel positive? Let me know, Brad. I'm curious about that one. All right, Booney. Booney is watching from the International Space Station. Much love. Wow, really, Booney? That is amazing. Hey, I appreciate you being here. If you're way up in space, I appreciate you being here. And let me know if you've had any challenges as it relates to staying positive when you're under stress. Be happy to just talk to you all about it today. Nicholas Gutierrez says, hug people. Well, that is a really great idea, Nicholas. I appreciate you mentioned that. That is so impactful. That's a great way. Skylar says, during test and math hurts my brain. Well, Skylar, look, math hurts many of our brains. That is for sure. There's a special group of people that can deal with math, and they're very happy about it. So I appreciate y'all sharing that. Let me know if you have any questions, and if you've had any problems staying positive when you're stressed as a leader. Let me know. Brett says, math is challenging for my brain. Yes, math can be challenging, but we need those numbers, right? Especially if you're trying to calculate your income. So instead of saying math is challenging, let's think of it a little differently. We like math. We have to like math, right? So math is something we can look at and say, have a deep appreciation for it, I would say. Now, we talked about staying positive, and for those of you who just joined, I do want to go into what I mentioned a moment ago before you all joined the live today. And I appreciate you being here, and feel free to subscribe if this information resonates with you. Now, specifically, you want to know what type of tasks, events make you feel happy, make you feel very positive when you do them. Some of my clients say reading a book is great. Going on a walk, spending time with friends and family, etc. Those are a few things that come up sometimes when you're feeling stressed that can actually make you feel happy. Now, I'm going to share with you what I've been doing over the past 20 years as a C-suite executive and as a director to stay positive when I'm under stress as a leader. But before I go into that, let me go into the chat. So we have Brad. Okay, so Brad says, oh, wait a second, what about history? History, I guess, can make you, does it make you feel positive or does it make you feel stressed? Let me know in the comments below, Brad. I'm curious. Nicholas Gutierrez says, if math was not real, we would still not be dumb. I think that's what you said. I believe so. Okay, Brad says yes. So yes, it just depends. Some people like history. I like reading about history. Maybe that's a stress relief for some people. Some people may say this is not something they want to do that stresses them out. Who knows? Now, I will share with you my framework that I do to use to stay positive as a woman leader specifically. So the first thing, if I feel like there's some type of stress that's going on that's maybe making me not feel like I'm in a positive state, then you have to acknowledge you're feeling maybe stressed. Sometimes we just work and work and work and work and work, and we just wake up one day and we feel burnt out. We don't know exactly why. Well, having a very heightened sense of self-awareness from yourself, knowing that you're stressed, is a great first step to acknowledging that you're stressed and how you need to turn this around very quickly to get into a more positive mindset. This is something that I do with my clients in a one-on-one coaching setting and as an executive coach, because People want to stay positive, right? You want to be positive as a leader, but how do you know when things are not going in a positive direction? Think about it. You have to have a heightened sense of awareness of yourself personally, to know that wait, I'm getting here. This is stressing me out, and I'm not feeling positive. If you don't know that, then it makes it hard for you to stay positive. So knowing yourself first is very, very, very important. The second strategy that I do is to detract myself from the situation. If I know I need to stay positive and I'm getting that internal radar that's telling me that I am not feeling positive right now, I'm starting to feel stressed, and the stress is starting to creep up and it's starting to get close above my head, I say, okay, I need a break. I need to get myself down. And so I detract myself from the situation. What does that mean? I literally detract myself from the situation. So for me personally, and I'm just sharing with you all what I do, I'm hoping that it helps someone that is watching this live video, whether you're watching the live or you're watching the replay. This is personally what I do. I have certain activities, as I mentioned at the very beginning. So if you're just joining, welcome, welcome. I talked about you need to have these activities in the back of your mind that make you feel not stressed. So for me, I have my own activities. When I feel like I'm stressed and I know I need to put myself in a positive state, I need to do these activities. So for me, I spend time on YouTube watching videos just like everybody else. I tend to watch videos that are more motivational, more inspirational, or more videos that will help me to grow my business, or more videos that I sit and watch and learn about what's going on in the world and politics and etc. That for me, believe it or not, leaders, is my detraction. I like to be detracted, but I like to still learn if I'm being detracted, if that makes sense. Reading a book. Reading a book is something that helps me to detract. That's for me personally. I want to know from you in the comments below, what are some activities that you like to do that can help detract you when you're starting to feel not as positive as you'd like to, that can actually help you get back into a more positive state? Let me know in the comments below. Reading a book is helpful. So I have a book right now that I'm reading. I literally just started reading this book. I've literally read just a couple pages, and I'm going to hopefully finish it within the next week or so. But it's a book about, it's Alex Hormozi's book about $100 million leads, I think is what it's called. So I read a book. So I read something to detract me. I may watch a movie. I used to be really big into movies. Many of you that have watched my channel or have followed me know some of my hobbies that I like. Movies is one of them. I haven't watched movies that much recently because I'm very busy with my kids, but movies is something that I do to detract me, to help me put myself back into the positive state. As I mentioned, many people struggle with staying positive. The reason they struggle with staying positive is because they do not know two things. One, what is going to make them stay positive? What activities, what do you need to do? Who do you need to talk to get yourself back into a positive state? Number one, they don't know that. Or maybe they know it and they haven't had time to really write it down or really think about it. And two, you do not know what that internal radar is for you that says, okay, I'm feeling stressed. I need to do something now. If I don't do anything now, I'm going to get back into a negative state. And then sometimes it's too late. The stress is way above our heads and we just have not had the chance to really acknowledge it. So self-awareness is extremely important if you want to stay positive, because you have to know when it's too much for you. No one knows that but you. And you have to take some time to figure out what that level is for you. For me personally, I know when I'm stressed. Okay, I'll tell you candidly, when I have my internal radar, when the stress is getting up to, let's say, my shoulder right here, if I had a measuring tape or some type of measuring tool, when my stress gets up here, that's when I say I need to become more positive. What do I need to do? I need to detract myself. I need to go read a book. I need to go watch a couple videos on YouTube. Maybe I need to watch a movie. Maybe I need to go just do something different. I need to get myself out of the stressful situation I'm in. That helps me to stay more positive. It's so important. I can't overemphasize this enough. You have to know yourself. And this is really what working with an executive coach helps you to do, is to get that heightened sense of awareness so that you don't wait until things just blow up to where you are really upset and then you're sitting there upset, mad, wondering why is everything so negative? Why do I not feel positive? This is what I'm sharing with you. This is really the framework that I use to help you feel more positive. You don't want to wait until the end. You don't want to wait until your stress is up here, because by this time when it's up here, guess what, leaders? Your mouth is covered up, your nose is covered up, your eyes are covered up, everything's covered up. You do not want to wait until you're that stressed out. So before I go into my last strategy, let me see what's going on in the chat. Brad said history is the only thing we can learn. I like science. Okay, I like science too. I'm a science major by heart. Sorry, as I mentioned earlier, I'm a little under the weather, so I sound just muffled, congested, and all of that. So I'm sorry. That's what happens when you're working with your kids. Sometimes they get sick and you get sick too. But science is great also. So science is really great. And if that's something that you really like and you enjoy reading and learning about, then that may be a good detractor for you, Brad. When you are feeling stressed and you're wanting to get into a positive state, you may need to just put yourself into a science book or watch something about science that may help you get into a more positive state. So I want to know from you, for those of you who are watching, what are some things that you want to mention now that we've talked a little bit about how to stay positive? What can you do to put yourself in a positive state? Let me know in the comments below. I shared a few things that I do personally. I want to know from you. What do you do? So we talked about you need to know your activities, number one, to stay positive as a leader. Second is you need to know when is enough. What is your internal radar that says this is a stressful situation and I need to be positive? You have to know what it is. I don't know what it is. Only you know what it is. Third is what I do is I detract myself from the situation. I will literally take a break. Read a book, watch some videos on YouTube, or watch something else. Take a break. And the fourth and final strategy I'll share with you today that I personally do, as I mentioned, there's a lot of things I do, but I wanted to at least provide you all with some value, and then, of course, provide you all with the great conversation I had with Les earlier today when I spoke with her. We were talking about being positive and how to stay positive. I wanted to just make sure I provide you with some value today. But the fourth strategy I do is I try to make sure that I put my executive presence at the forefront. So if you've watched my channel for any length of time, you know that you need to try to be the same person as much as you can, regardless of what's going on. You have your people you need to vent to, but as a leader, you have to really put yourself in a situation to where you're presenting yourself as the leader, even if you have a million things going on in your head. So keep in mind, sometimes you may have to adjust yourself accordingly, but make sure you're always presenting yourself as that very, very optimistic leader. This is something that many leaders struggle with, even when we are under stress. And if you want to really remain that positive person that people really are really drawn to, then you absolutely want to make sure that you are showcasing yourself as an executive, as that leader that can manage it. So before I finish up, I want to see what's going on in the chat. Sanelli Maluka, hello, welcome, friend. How you doing today? Glad to see you back. Sanelli Maluka says, hello, smart people. Am I too late? No, ma'am, you are not too late at all. We were just talking about staying positive as a woman leader. And I gave a couple of examples of things that I do to stay positive. I shared my framework in terms of how to stay positive, and we're just going over that. I just did a quick recap of what we talked about. I'll do another one just for you, Sanelli, because I'm glad you're here today. But that's what we're talking about. So if you have anything specifically that you do that helps you to be positive, I know you're a lot into poetry from what I remember, then let me know in the comments below. What are some things that you do that help you to stay positive as a woman leader? Let me know in the comments below. So for those of you who are just joining, I just gave a brief synopsis. I'm going to do another synopsis just because Sanelli Maluka just joined and she is a subscriber. So if you want to stay positive as a woman leader or as a leader, you can be a man in leadership also, there's a couple things that you want to do. And I'm going to go over them one more time for everybody so that you know. First is you have to have a list of activities that make you feel positive. These activities need to be just in the back of your mind. So when those times come up when you're feeling not positive, then you can quickly pick them up and say, oh, I should go do this. I should go do that. I need to go do this. So you have them ready to go. Second is to have a very heightened sense of self-awareness about yourself, so you know when enough is enough. You have to have that internal radar about yourself so that you know when the stress is starting to get to a point where you really need to do something about it. Only you know what that level is. I don't know the level, only you know the level. And that's something you need to know so that you are able to determine when you're not feeling as positive, most likely you're under stress. This is something that you can start being able to gauge yourself on and say, okay, I'm not feeling positive right now. What is that thing? What activity, what task do I need to do now to put me back in a positive state? You can't know that unless you have a heightened sense of awareness of where you are personally and what's making you feel negative or what's making you feel positive. This is something, as I mentioned, that I do with my clients in an executive strategy session in a one-on-one setting, is we dive into this because you have to know yourself. There's a big pillar of working with a coach. If you've never worked with a coach before or executive coach in your life, self-awareness is one of the most powerful skill sets, tools that you can have in your life. Because if you have a more of a heightened self-awareness of yourself, you are going to be able to know how to manage yourself when stressful situations come up, when you have to lead under pressure, when you have to communicate under pressure, and etc. So just keep that in mind. Now, I do want to mention that the third strategy I mentioned to you is that you have to detract yourself. So find that activity that you need to do, detract yourself, get yourself out of the situation so you can get yourself into a more positive mindset. And finally, you want to make sure that your executive presence is at the place where it needs to be, even when you are maybe not stressed or maybe are very stressed and you're trying to stay positive. You still want to act like you're positive, be positive. We're all going to have rough days where things are not where we need them to be, but you still want to try to portray yourself as a very positive, optimistic person. And sometimes a lot of people in the manifestation world talk about this. You can look at tons of YouTubers that talk about this, or YouTube channels, or etc. They talk about how you have to get yourself in state. And I'm really a huge believer in that. Keep yourself in state. Keep yourself in a positive state. If you know there's conversations, interactions, discussions, situations that are going to put you in that negative state, then figure out how can you either, one, avoid them, or two, work around them to stay positive. I know when I was working in different roles many years ago, I would have to interact with people in meetings as a leader that were just negative, so negative. It was just definitely negative talk. And I would have to literally prep myself mentally and put myself in a bubble, so to speak. So when I went into these meetings, because I had to be present, that I still remained very positive, even though majority of the people in the room were very negative. Now, let me know in the comments below, what are some topics that you want to learn more about? Today is definitely a bit of a different topic for my channel because I'm focusing more on positive communication in terms of keeping yourself positive as a woman leader. But I want to know if there's any other topics that you want to learn a lot more about, because I'm here to really support you on your journey. I focus heavily on strategic communication, communicating under pressure, being very confident as a woman in leadership, and provide you with these next level skills that will help you to stand out from your peers. So let me know how I can support you in the comments below. Tomorrow, I will be going live again, and I'll probably focus a bit more on communication. That is normally what I talk about here on my channel. If you have any questions specifically, feel free to let me know, and I'll be here to support you on your journey. All right, before I leave, let me see what Sanelli Maluka says. Thank you as well. Since I am a writer, writing is what I do to stay positive. And if anyone doesn't understand what I wrote puts me in a negative state, I understand. So now I appreciate you, Sanelli Maluka, for mentioning that and sharing what helps you to stay positive, because having those, it's so important. I can't overemphasize this enough. People tell me all the time, how can I manage complicated situations? How can I think on my feet? How can I do all these things on the fly? You have to have that heightened sense of awareness, just like Sanelli Maluka just mentioned. She knows that writing is the way for her to stay positive. So Sanelli Maluka knows as soon as something's probably making her not feel like she's in a positive state, what's she gonna do? She's gonna go write. Me personally, if I know something's putting me in a not positive state, what's the first thing that I'm going to do? More than likely, I'm going to detract myself. Whether I'm watching a video, I'm reading a book, or I'm going to go watch a movie. I'm going to do something to just completely take my mind elsewhere. So for Sanelli Maluka, she mentioned about writing. That helps to take her mind elsewhere so that she can get herself more in a positive state. This is important. So many people struggle with this, leaders. They really do, because they just don't know what to do. So if you can take a moment, and if you don't remember anything from this live video today, please, if you're trying to stay positive and you want to be positive as a woman in leadership, maybe you're a man in leadership watching this video, if you want to stay positive, you have to know yourself. If you don't know yourself, it's going to be very difficult for you to stay positive in those challenging situations. And the best way to know yourself is to know what makes you positive, what puts you in a really good state regardless of what you do. For me, spending time with you all here puts me in a really positive state. I love being here. And you have to know what that is too. You have to know what it is specifically for you to put you in a positive state. This, I'm telling you, by far will absolutely help you be able to stay positive as a woman in leadership. Let me know if you have any questions. There's a couple videos that will complement this video specifically. One of them is patience in leadership, so feel free to check that out on my live tab. And if you are new to me, this is what we talk about. We talk about a lot of different topics. I really focus heavily on leadership and communication and making you stand out from everybody else. I'm a bit under the weather today. You probably, for those of you who watch me, probably can tell I'm a little under the weather today, but I'm here. I want to be present for you all and support you as much as I can on your journey. Let me know if you have any questions specifically, and if you have any topics that you want to learn more about, because this topic, as I mentioned, came up from a conversation I had with Les earlier today. So I will do videos just for you and give you a shout out in the video. Also, if it's a topic that you want to learn more information about, just let me know in the comments below. I'm here to really help you. I want you all to do well. My mission here is to help you communicate at a higher level than your peers so that you stand out from everybody else. Whether you are doing something in an organization, your business, or trying to make a big impact on the world, I'm here to support you. All right, David Garcia Aldana. Hello, David. Welcome back. Welcome back. How are you doing today? David said, hi, how are you? I'm doing fantastically well. We were just going over, we're actually just wrapping up the live. Glad to have you back. And we were just talking about how to stay positive as a leader. So we just went over several strategies that I personally do. I've been in some very friendly, some very contentious situations. So definitely take a moment when you have some time to check out the replay. We go through a couple scenarios or a couple of strategies that have helped me personally to stay positive whenever you are trying to be a leader. These are very, 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 very general terms. Sometimes as women leaders, there's a lot of stress we deal with. And so I gave it from the perspective of being a woman. But David, there's a lot of information that you'll learn there also. And it's always good to have you back, friends. It's been a little while. I haven't seen you in a while. So glad to have you back here. Let me know if there's any topics you want to learn more information about, especially as it relates to communication, leadership. You know, I'm here for you. I will give you my very, very, very honest guidance in terms of how you can do better when you're trying to stand out as a leader. And then just give me anything that you have that's complicated. I'm known for dealing with the more complicated, challenging situations. So let me know, and I'm here to support you on your journey. I hope you all have an amazing day, and I will see you tomorrow live. Once again, Les, thank you so much for this video topic. I think it was very timely, very good video topic for everybody to learn about how to be positive. And if you all have anything else, let me know. You know where to find me. I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye for now.